Today we're going to be looking at this pen. It's also been pointed out to me that my videos can be hard to follow due to low volume. I will therefore attempt to speak up more now because... Don't turn up the volume! I'll just speak louder. And I'm just kidding, I understand. I know that I don't have the world's loudest voice, so I'm just trying to be a little bit louder. I was contacted by Drillog, which is a company in Japan, and they make dip nibs, but they make a special kind of dip nib. Of course, you'll see it better in just a sec. It's kind of modeled after the glass dip nibs. I have reviewed those years ago. I had a fountain pen with a glass dip nib, and I had an actual entirely made of glass dip pen. And those glass dip nibs, if I remember correctly, the story is that in the, I want to say, Second World War, there was a shortage of metal and companies were looking for alternatives to alternative materials to make nibs with, and they came up with glass. Now that glass gets dipped in ink and it has grooves around the nib that kind of capture ink, and then as you write, that ink slowly spirals down and you can write for quite a bit. So those nibs are always made of glass, and now this company in Japan has recreated that nib but in metal, and they come in a couple of pens. They were very generous. They've sent me a lot of different models and some accessories, so I'm going to give you an overview of those products. I will definitely do a writing sample. I will tell you what I like and what I don't like about them. And I should add that when I was contacted by a company and I saw the name Drillog in the subject line, I first thought it was whiskey. Drillog. You have to admit, Drillog kind of sounds like it could be whiskey, but it's not. So let's get started. Alright, here we go with the Drillog. Now I received 4 of these. I'm just going to show you one box. If you buy it, it wouldn't say sample, obviously. There is some paperwork. This is entirely Japanese though, so I personally cannot read it. If you want a really nice background on the pens, I can highly recommend Fude Fans, F-U-D-E, and then just fan. Fude Fans review. I think Fude Fan did an outstanding job outlining a number of excellent points regarding these pens. Okay, so you also get this the website. I may have combined a couple of things from different boxes, and then you have this little document which is also entirely in Japanese. Here we have one of the pens. I'm just taking out this, sorry, take that box out of the way. I was sent 4, so we have, excuse me, I know, I had some, not throat issues, but doing a lot of talking, so that was a sip of tea there. I was sent a classic spiral, a classic material, I'll put it the other way around, a classic spiral, and the twins spiral. I was also sent 2 nibs, an 0.5 and an 0.8. I'll try to show you both in action. And they also very kindly sent me their pen rest. And they had a name, I'm just double checking what they called that because it was a cute name. The color puddle, which is kind of cute. So you can kind of put different inks in and mix and match as you are writing. Solid metal, so these things are very heavy. You can get 2 nibs. You buy them separately from the pens. But this is going to keep going away, so I'm just going to show you this next to a Pilot Metropolitan. They're pretty small pens, as you can see, but there is, in the classic aluminum version, they have now made a longer version. That was not sent to me yet because that was made after they sent me this, but clearly they already sent me a lot, so I'm not complaining. You have 2 of these nibs, separate purchases. They just screw in. Right, I'm just going to take this out of the way if you don't mind, just so I can show you. The pen is just basically an aluminum tube, and I want to be a little careful where I touch this so as not to grease them up. But you screw it in and you have your choice of 0.5 or 0.8 millimeter nibs. These facets line up pretty well, so that's really neat, catches the light nicely. My personal favorite is that twin model, and I'll show you why in just a second. Is there anything else I need to tell you? They are machined, they are on Kickstarter, and yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I've told you about the glass nib alternative. My biggest issue with the pens is the size. I cannot hold this because it slides into my hand and that they don't post. At least these models don't. So this is very nice, but I cannot use this, and you cannot hold it lower down because then you're interfering with the nib and the ink flow. So you have to forgive me. I'm trying to do this as efficiently as I can. This is the classic AL version, so that's an aluminum. Same thing, I can't hold it because it's too small. This one again is, they have now made a longer version, also does not post. And then there is that spiral. Again, you know with these videos, what you see is what you get, so it takes a second. I can also not actually hold this, and it also does not post. It's not magnetic or anything. So, as I said, my by far favorite model is the twin model. It's called twin because you can actually put two nibs on it. You see one on either end, and this one has the great advantage that it's also too small for me. But this one does post. You can screw what is the cap on one end onto what is the barrel on the other end because they're identical pieces, and then you have a pen that is a decent size. I cannot emphasize enough how small these pens are. This is the uncapped version. This is a Pilot Metropolitan, not the world's biggest pen, but you see the difference, right? And because you can't hold this down here, because remember, all these grooves will hold ink, it becomes a little difficult to use. What I will do, I'm just unscrewing this part, I'll put this here for visual appeal. I'm going to do a demonstration of writing, but I'll only use this pen because I can't use the other two, sorry, three. Let's start with the finest of the nibs. Now, these nibs have been cleaned with dishwashing detergent and water, then just water, and I've brushed them, scrubbed them with an old toothbrush, so they should be very clean. The ink I'll be using is Iroshizuku Konpeki, which is a lubricated ink. I have tried out these nibs with a number of inks. I'm dipping it in as far as it goes. And let's start to do some writing. I am trying to convey the sense of the pen. Moons and Junes and Ferris wheels. The dizzy, oh, I can't remember the lyrics. The dizzy dancing way that you feel as every fairy tale comes real. I've looked, I have to adjust this. I've looked at life that, no, love that way. Love that way. But now, it's just another show. And you leave them laughing as you go. And if you care, don't let them know. Yeah, so I get about half a page out of it. There is still ink in the grooves. I know that I was not doing that in the most elegant way. Don't let them know. Don't give yourself away. Now, as you can see, it does pick up again, but it runs dry. You have to rotate it a bit, you have to tap it a bit. So I wouldn't have the expectation that you can write a full page without manipulating the nib, because that's not the case, right? And obviously with the glass nib, don't tap it on the paper that hard. Etc. Now I'm just going to, because this was the 0.5 nib, I also seem to have it unscrew, but that may just have been me. I'm just wiping this down gently. I'll switch nibs. This is the 0.8. I've had a very similar experience with that. It is definitely wider. Yeah, it's also, with dipping, it's always fun, right? Because now I have ink everywhere, and it's Iroshizuku, so that's going to be on me for a bit. The 0.5 I really find incredibly feedbacky, to the point where it's really quite scratchy. I prefer this 0.8 considerably. Because it is a smoother experience from give and take. And it stops writing again. I rotate it, I just rotated it. And still, somehow... Sorry guys, this is also not my best handwriting, but I'm also trying to not take up an hour of your time. It's Love's Illusions, I recall. And it ends. So that's it for this nib. I tried different inks. Now, again, Fude fan, do check out that post on that website. I'm going to cap this bottle straight away because I'm very nervous about a massive bottle opened. Fude fan does have some arguments around viscosity of ink. So I do really recommend that post. I found it very illuminating. That's it. Let's talk about what I like and what I don't like about these pens. Let's do it. What do I like, what do I not like about the Drillog pens? I think the designs are nice. I think the idea is very nice, and there are a few things that I really like about these nibs. I paused for a moment because I was thinking about how to put it, about these metal glass nibs, if you forgive me the silly expression. One advantage is durability. I have had some glass nibs in my time, and I am known for my natural grace. Just dipping them a little too hard in the bottle of ink can actually make them chip, and then you can kind of polish that out with micro mesh, but it's glass. Everybody knows that glass is not necessarily the most robust material in the world, right? So the metal is a nice touch, and I do really like that. I think the looks are cool. I think all of these pens have a nice look, quite understated, some a bit more extravagant, like that spiral model, but the basic model's basically a tube, right? So I like the effort that has gone into that. I think it's a good idea. I also really like that you can buy two nib widths, 0.5 and 0.8 millimeters. As far as I know, with glass dip pens, you get what you get. And I like to have that option, which I don't know, it's easier to do in metal than in glass because you can make microelectrodes for brain research that are super fine. But anyway, that's besides the point. It's nice that the consumer has that option. I like that you have multiple colors that you can choose from. It allows you to really pick what you want, and there's quite a lot of options. Having said that, there also are a number of things I don't like about these pens. The price is high. I was doing some math, and if it is correct, then a pen and a nib is going to cost you at least 276 US. I could be wrong, but the nibs are 148 US. The pens are at least 128. Some are more expensive than that, and maybe I misread it, but it seemed to me that the nibs are not included with the pen, so it's a separate purchase. Over $250 for a pen like that, I find expensive. That's a lot. Then there is the fact that I was sent 4 pens, and this is very generous, but I cannot use 3 out of the 4 pens because they are so small that I cannot properly hold them. I know because I was contacted by Drillog, and they indicated that at least for the classic aluminum model, they are making a longer version, so they were aware of that problem, but I don't know if that's only that one model or if it's all models. So this one, the double-ended pen, is the only one I received that actually posts and that I can therefore use. All the other ones have about this length, and it simply won't work for me. I can't hold this comfortably. Now, obviously, that's also a matter of your hand size. But I would not be surprised if the average male has a bit of trouble with using these pens. Again, that's individual differences as well. So these are my I would say, 2 primary concerns, the price and the size. Then there is also the claim of being able to write an A4 page. I tried with different inks. I could do a paragraph. And that's about what I could do with a glass nib. So the claim of this is an improved version of a glass nib that allows you to write longer, I'm not seeing it. I'm sorry. So it's an interesting product, and I would very much like to see where this company will take this product over time. Because now with longer pens already coming out, I think they're onto something. Absolutely. Again, the design is cool. It's original. It's innovative. I like that. I like the colors. But the price, the size, and especially the claim of being able to write very long, I don't really see that, so to speak. Having said all this, I'm very grateful to Drillog for sending me all these products. You send me a lot of material to try out and play with, and I really appreciate that. So it's definitely a very interesting initiative, and again, I would really like to see how this evolves over time. I'll keep my eyes peeled, because I think the pens have a lot of promise. Okay, that's it for today. I hope this was useful, and I'll gladly see you later. Bye-bye.